Camilla? Miss Camilla, you want to unmute your microphone.
Oh, hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I just want to be briefly, wanted to tell you I like the work you do with Black American communities, but I think you need to be a little more conscious of the lies that you spread. I know you live in California. I know the Jewish are all over around you. You might be intimidated not to tell the truth. You are a Jew. You are a true Hebrew, like most Latinos. We are the 12 tribes of Israel. I want you to do your research and spread truth, which is liberation. People are living lies. Our history has been completely changed in order to meet the lies of this country. This country is going to collapse. People need to organize. People need to be ready.
Camilla?
Stop
Camilla?
dividing people.
Camilla?
Latinos are mostly Africans and mostly indigenous, and indigenous peoples are Hebrews. We speak Quechua. We speak indigenous language that are the oldest versions of Hebrew. Relearn your history, my friend, and do a work of love that is much needed around this country.
Camilla?
Yes, sir.
Where you from, dear?
I am from Peru, one
Peru.
of the 12 tribes of Israel.
G checked Camilla from Peru, who is of the 12 tribes of Israel, being from the northern kingdom. As we know, the Latinos, the Native Americans, are of the house of Israel, of the 10 tribes. Also, the so-called African Americans are of the southern kingdom. And we know that we're scattered as well throughout the four corners of the earth. Let me show you how she is correct here. We're going to go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verses 40 to 45. This is going to show the so-called Latinos and Native Americans making their way to the Americas from the Babylonian captivity under Assyria. And this happened, I believe it was 720 before Christ. Okay, so starting at verse 40, 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verse 40. These are the 10 tribes which are carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind had dwelt. This is at the end of the Assyrian captivity, when that Assyrian nation was being trodden down by other kingdoms. Okay, so they were being freed at this time. Okay, so they decided, let's go ahead and go somewhere else where man had not been before so we can keep these laws, because we broke the laws, and that's the reason why we ended up in all these captivities and slavery and whatnot. Verse 42, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. Jackpot. And they entered into the Euphrates River by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs of them and held still the flood till they were passed over. Just like he did in Exodus with Moses leading us out of Egypt, he held the waters back the same way for the northern kingdom, the house of Israel, to get into the Americas. Verse 45, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth. And here quickly, this is a map of showing that the Americas are Arsareth. Okay, it does show the Euphrates River here, and it seems to show that it's saying that they went down below Africa. I believe that they traveled up here, because back in time, this was a little bit closer. The land bridge there was a little bit closer, and the water was held back. So I believe that they traveled through the Americas from up this direction. But America, the United States of America and Latin America, is Arsareth. And that is the reason why we as Israelites are indigenous to this land. Okay, so here I just wanted to pull up some artifacts here, give you guys some proof. This is the Los Lunas stone, which is written in ancient Hebrew. They say it's the 10 commandments. It's actually 9 commandments. If anybody knows which commandment was left out, please put that in the comments. This was found in New Mexico, showing that the Paleo, and this is the Paleo Hebrew, we never spoke modern Hebrew. It wasn't created till like 600 and finalized in the 19th century. Okay, so that's fake. This is the Paleo Hebrew. Okay, and so you see that artifact there, which was found in New Mexico, the Los Lunas stone. Next here, another artifact found in the Americas. This is called the Keystone. Again, it's in ancient Hebrew. This is called, what is this called here? This was found in Ohio. Okay, King of the Earth, Word of Yah, Holy of Holies. So there's ancient Hebrew written on that. This was found in Ohio. Here's another famous piece that you guys may have seen. This is called the Bat Creek Stone. Again, it's written in ancient Hebrew. It's in the Cherokee Museum. Okay, this seems like it comes from the Cherokees. It's in the Cherokee Museum, and this is also the paleo, or something that derives from the paleo, and this was found in North Carolina. And Camilla mentioned the Checkasaw language, which was spoken throughout Latin America, and it does derive from the Hebrew. She says that he's intimidated to tell the truth, and that's the reason why he does speak division, and his words do divide the Israelites. I'll get to that a little bit later. So let's continue on with this Butter Biscuit Fest.
The period that we are, let's say, talking about is a period of big complications in Spain. We had the establishing of the Inquisition in the year, and the expelling of the Jewish community later in the year 1492. Many of the Jews went to Portugal, escaping from the Inquisition. And in Portugal, they had some years of certain comfortable lives, but later they were forced by the king, Manuel I of Portugal, to convert again into Christianity. So they were being persecuted. Very important to mention that Peru probably was one of the most distant lands where someone could travel to from Spain or Portugal. Look at where we are in this moment. No, Peru in the map. I hope you are seeing the location of my country. We are between latitude 13 and 12 below the equator line. So we are a warm country located in a zone that is quite tropical. Lima, by the way, lays on a desert, right? So many of the men who came to Peru during that period could be Christians, old Christians, or new Christians also, were here to make fortunes. They wanted to live comfortable life, but also many of them wanted to escape. They were escaping from this oppression, from this surge. Many even who were truly new conversos into Catholic faith, just because they were, let's say, descendants of Jews, they would be always put in this, let's say, group of new Christians, just because they had, like ancestors, great-grandfathers that were Jews. They will always be new Christians. And that stain, that mark will not let them be, let's say, or have the same opportunities than other people. But also we have many people who continue practicing their faith because that was the only way they could also live in secret.
We come from the real Hebrews. And after 500 years of rape, forced marriages, genocide, provoked pandemics, our melanin have changed. But what you're doing is divide us people that we need to stick together one way or another, and it's going to happen. Just be ready, because the Jewish demons that run the USA, Babylon USA, will provoke violence soon. Beware.
Camilla.
Times are difficult, but there's a better future for everyone. Okay? Do a work of love. It's much needed.
Camilla is correct. The Israelites were expelled from Spain as well as from Portugal. And I've got a book here that I want to show, a treatise, Physical Geography. That's the name of the book. And as you can see, this book was made in 1850, published in 1850 in New York. A lot of these old books have information in there that's been hidden. And it says, I'll start with some of this underlined stuff. Thus, the Jews are a people who have ever, according to the prophecy, dwelt alone without intermixing with the nations to this day. Now this separate race, all descending from brown ancestors for Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, must have been as dark as Mar Yohanan, if not darker. That person was a dark black person. Exhibit every shade of color from the black Jews of Malabar, because we are in many shades. Then it continues to say, the Spanish Jews is always dark complexioned. Okay? Because we were there. We actually ruled in Spain in the so-called Dark Ages for 800 years. That's another video. And his hair is uniformly black. So they're saying here that the Spanish Jews are always dark complexioned. The various shades of color observable among the Negro or African race tends to do the same conclusion. Along the coast of Guinea, which is lowly marsh, okay, we find jet black complexion. Then this is very much country from the American Negroes have derived from. So this is just proving her point that the Jews in Spain were black. Make sure you stay to the end because you're going to be surprised at my conclusion. Let's get back to Tariq Nasheed stunting here for Zaddy.
I'm indigenous to this land.
What land? What land are you indigenous to?
The occupied native lands where Babylon, USA is located. Your country is temporary. What are you talking?
You're not indigenous to the United States. What are you talking about?
This is a temporary colony. It's going to collapse.
Ma'am, you're not indigenous to the United States.
I am indigenous to this continent and the world. We are the real Hebrews.
Ma'am, then why are you not in Israel?
You're so ignorant. It's totally sad for your part. You're not mocking me. You are exhibiting, you are displaying your ignorance.
If you are a Hebrew, why did you flee here and not Israel?
Be a leader. Don't be a clown.
Ma'am, you just babbling. Why are you not in Israel if you are the real Hebrew?
The real Hebrews are from all over the world, silly.
Then if everybody's a Hebrew, nobody's a Hebrew. How does that work?
Well, do your homework. Stop spreading trashy information.
What
All you do is
trash?
spread mockery and stupidity.
Well, now, what trash am I spreading, ma'am?
You don't even know your roots. You don't even know you are a true Hebrew.
I am not no man Hebrew. I'm a
You
foundational.
are, and that is the sad.
I'm a foundational Black American. I am not a Hebrew, and neither are you, ma'am.
So there we have it. Tariq Nasheed says he is not an Israelite. He tries to tell Camilla that she is not an Israelite either. She tells him that he's basically wallowing in ignorance and being a bedwench for Zaddy in the United States government. And she is actually correct. And he does work in division. So now let's go to some verses here to prove these points. Luke 21:24, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. That's the reason why we are in all nations, okay? Like she was saying, we're from all around the world. That's the reason, because we were led away captive into all nations because we broke the laws, and the Father had a covenant with us, the Israelites. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles. That's the reason why we are not in Israel right now, because the Gentiles are troddening down Jerusalem. Very simple. Next verse that I have is Matthew 24, verses 29 to 31. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. He has to come gather us from all over the world because we were scattered, as from the verse that I just previously read. And you may ask yourself, well, who is the elect? How do we know that the elect are the Israelites? This is for clarity. Okay, Isaiah 45:4, for Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect. Because the Israelites are the elect and are the portion of the Father, of Yahweh. We are his portion. I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. And Tariq, he's been around enough people that are into the truth to know who he is, okay? So what's most important to me about this study here that I put forth to you guys, about this information, it's not the fact that Tariq Nasheed says he is not an Israelite, Okay, it's not the fact that we know that the Latinos, Native Americans, so-called African Americans, and the rest of us scattered throughout the four corners of the earth are Israelites. But here it is. The truth is, the fact is, the thing that's most important is that we make it to heaven and not go to hell. Now, if you're an Israelite, it does not automatically get you into heaven. It doesn't work that way. If you're a Gentile from another nation, it does not condemn you to hell. So the purpose of this life is if you're going to follow Christ and keep his commandments and make it to heaven and not make it to hell. Your nationality will not save you nor condemn you. I've got crazy topics on my channel that you're going to love. Go check them out. Definitely let me know what you think about this in the comments. All praises to the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Peace.